For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Oh, the great trans debate. It's never ending. I've got some thoughts as a gay man and a story that I think any dog owner can appreciate. It's coming up on The Scribble, starting right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now, it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. You know, last week on the show, I commented about how you're not allowed to have an opinion because you're and what I meant by that, if you missed it, I'll recap, was, you know, when I live tweet Bachelor and Bachelorette, whether it's Bachelor, right, the man is the star, and then and I'm putting that in quotation marks, and there's 20-some women, or when it's Bachelorette, and she's the star, and there's 30 men, or whatever it is, that I'm an equal opportunity sarcast? Is that a word? I'm the equal opportunity sarcastic? I'm looking across the room at the window where my people should be paying attention. Nobody's listening to me. Whatever. And so I would always take heat, and I still do sometimes, because I'll make a comment about a woman. It's usually when it's a black woman that all of a sudden I'm misogynist, I'm racist, I'm sexist, I'm blah, blah, blah. And it's like, give me the screenshot, because this is all in writing. So show me where I said something about black. Now, did I say something about woman? Yeah, because it's the woman competing for the guy. But I didn't say anything about the color. I didn't say anything about that. You're making it that. You're racist. You're the one inferring that. And so, it's been for, years, because this whole, race debate. And so one of the other things that happened during Pride Month, now we're going back a couple of weeks, was that in my newspaper column, I've been writing for almost 20 years in the same newspaper, I wrote a series of articles because the whole trans debate it seems like it's worsening every month and every Pride Month as the years go on. And I had to explain to people and I felt the need to. It's not like nobody forced me. Nobody was like, what is the difference? Because LGBTQ blah, blah, blah is all just this one long alphabet, right? It's everything not straight is really what it means now. That as a gay man, I'm lumped into the trans thing. And because the trans thing is so polarizing right now, we're all gay, lesbian, we're all grouped into it. So I clarified to people, and I said, you have to, I'm a gay man, I'm a married gay man. In my house, there are no pride flags. We don't have flags, we don't have torso sculptures, we don't have fashion magazines, we don't have... There's nothing like that. For all intents and purposes, and this is where I said, I'm going to get some hate mail, I'm in a regular gay man's house. Or just a regular man's house. There's nothing identifying that this is a gay, I said, that's where we have to come down to basics, where I feel the need to go and say, look, I'm not trans, I'm not one of the flamboyant, flouncing queens that you see at the Pride Parade on TV. I'm just a man who married a man. Obviously, there are some differences in my relationship than a straight couple, but you already know the deal with that. And that's it. I've got no connection to trans. That's where people will go and say, but there are brothers and sisters and we have... That's fine. That's, because Dylan Mulvaney is the most polarizing, again, I'll use that word, trans figure, in the news right now. And I've been listening to Megyn Kelly's podcast, and this is where people will go and say, you're a gay man. How can you listen to Megyn Kelly? She hates trans people. But I'm a gay man, and just a couple of days ago, she had some very articulate gay guests on who talked about Dylan Mulvaney. Now, I get it that it's blown way out of proportion, and it's strange to me that there's so much focus on that, because back in the day, I remember saying to one of my gay friends, I said, do you remember when it was like you were the one like gay person in your family or in your circle of friends, and it was kind of cool, for those of us who didn't experience hatred and whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, I was the gay guy in the family, and I wasn't, and that was kind of the joke too amongst the family, right? Oh, well, what does Jeremy do? And it was fine. I was fine with that. Nobody was making fun of me. Nobody was hate-filled. Nobody was doing anything maliciously. Nobody was saying, and if they were, I didn't hear about it, and fuck them if they did. So, I said, like, it was kind of the novelty of being, well, now in our family, we've got a pen, we've got a bi, we've got one of my, colleagues, her son was involved with he had a girlfriend, and all of a sudden the girlfriend is transitioning, and now the son comes to mom and is like, oh, that I'm bi because the girlfriend's transitioning to be a guy. Then all of a sudden the relationship busts up, and now he ins himself. Now he unouts himself. Now he's not bi, he's just straight because I thought I liked guys because I liked her, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, this is getting really confusing even for the people involved. So when people come to me, because, when Bruce Jenner sat down with Diane Sawyer and talked about transitioning to become Caitlyn, I, as an entertainment correspondent, reported on the story, and then some of the local radio stations then were soliciting my opinion because I'm a gay man, and G is part of the alphabet soup that we have with all of them. So I'm not easily offended. I wasn't bothered by that, but I almost kind of felt the need, which I didn't though, but I felt the need to say, like, you realize that I'm just gay. I don't, if Bruce Jenner was a gay man, then I would have an opinion on it, or could relate to it, or, you could ask me then, but ask a trans person then, because I'm not trans, and then again, you could use that assumption and go and say, well, with the whole abortion debate, every woman's going to have an opinion, every woman has to get on a soapbox, and no, that's just not right. Some women will have a strong opinion. Some people just keep to themselves. Shut my mouth. It's not my business. If I want to have an abortion, that's my thing. Whatever people do, fuck it. They can make that decision for themselves. So for me, I'm not anti-trans. I realize that people are all of a sudden probably going to like lash out at me and say that you're anti. I do my thing. And, I was speaking of podcasts, Megyn Kelly, and then I listened to Rosie O'Donnell's, and she's got a 10-year-old daughter, and she's made a few references that her daughter has said that she's non-binary. I still don't even know. I'm 40 years old. I don't even know what non-binary means. But the fact that this is the focus for children that age, it's strange to me, because I knew that I liked boys when I was a kid, when I was young, but it was just sort of an attraction. Now again, there's a difference between attraction and like sexual, because when you're 5 years old, you're not sexual. It's not that I want to have sex with boys. Now, maybe you could think that you wanted to kiss them. So I guess in a roundabout way, it's sexual, but it's very innocent when you're that age, right? It's not hormonal. I'm just attracted to that boy. I think that he's cute, just as a boy would look at a girl and think that she's cute, or a girl would look at a boy, or a girl would look at another girl. And so I'm not anti-trans. I just think it's very strange that it's becoming younger and younger. And the issue is that it's trendy now. So back to Megyn Kelly's podcast, she had two gay folks on who were talking about this whole Dylan Mulvaney thing, and how the percentage of people that identified as gay or lesbian back in the day hasn't really increased. It's the last part of that alphabet, right? The TQIA plus 2, whatever it is now, that's increased like 30 some, almost 40% in recent years. Now, those are things that you identify as, whereas gay, I guess I identify as gay, but gay is also just who I am, right? It's not, I don't identifying as a gender is one thing, and then who you are sexually is something that's different. And so that's where, again, there's this crossover and this it's a mishmash of gender versus sexuality versus identity versus whatever, and they're all very distinct things. So going back to my newspaper column as a gay man, here I am kind of explaining to it. I'm almost like waving the surrender flag, going, don't come at me because you're one of them when it's the trans debate. I'm not trans. I'm also not bi. I'm also not queer, because I even that I don't quite understand what the definition is. I am me, first and foremost. I'm me. It's not that I identify as male, because I am male. Like that's what I don't really understand it. Now, I'm also open-minded to learning about it. Let me be clear on this before, again, anybody writes and says, well, you're anti-trans, you're anti-queer, you're anti-whatever. Fuck off. Because, I gave up on that a few years ago when I was hosting my syndicated radio shows. And this is another thing, by the way, before anybody, you try to cancel me. And I don't even think that I'm high profile enough to be canceled, let's be honest. But in the 15 years that I hosted Top of the Charts, our syndicated Top 40 show, and as long as I've been an entertainment reporter, I've never, ever, ever, ever been in trouble for something that I've said. Let me be clear on this. So there was an issue when Demi Lovato was not a she anymore. She was a they. And I guess the expectation was, because Demi made that declaration, that proclamation that she is a they, that all of us need to bow down and cater to that and identify her as a they. And I didn't, because in reading the script, and our entertainment show is like a 3-minute kind of a quick hit sort of a thing, it doesn't make sense to the average listener if you're not tuned into that you don't know that she identifies as they, she's no longer a girl. It doesn't make sense. Because it's going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So people like my parents, which they don't listen to me on the radio, but if they did, Demi Lovato's new album, they've been working on it since, and now you're thinking, wait a second, they, is that a band? Wait, who, did I miss something? Who's they? You're going to back. So it was just like, Demi Lovato, we know that that's a she because you know who Demi Lovato is. And so I just didn't do it. And some people, listeners, I'm saying, not coworkers or colleagues, some listeners were pointing it out that I was wrong, and I didn't even bother. I'm like, you know what? Complain. I don't care. I'm not playing this game of doing that. I'm not. Because what ends up happening is now Demi Lovato is a she again. I'm not going to have a fucking checklist to go and say, okay, who's male this week and who's female this week? Like, that's just... Sam Smith is another one. I think Piers Morgan always talks about him. Sam Smith is one who... He's this one. And same... Dylan Mulvaney is... was a gay man, was trans, is now a lesbian. But how is a man a lesbian? I mean, a straight man likes women first and foremost. So Dylan is now a straight man, but Dylan's identifying now as a trans lesbian, and so it's like we've got to have this roadmap so I could take a step back now and see it from the viewpoint of straight people going and saying, God, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. How do you do, like, why is there such a focus on it's this and that? I'm going to chop off this body part. I'm going to grow this on my chest. I'm going to hack off my dick. I'm going to do that to become a lesbian. Like, I understand why straight people pose these questions and feel that way. I get it. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that I agree, or I'm not saying that I side with them, but I kind of get it. And another conversation was Joe Rogan. Was it Ice Cube? Somebody icy that he was talking to on his podcast, and he was talking about the Budweiser or Bud Light thing, and Dylan Mulvaney, and it was like, it's enough of this shit. Like, it's being forced down your throat because you have to agree with it. You have to bow down and refer to Dylan as she because that's what Dylan wants, and that's, and I've never subscribed to that. Let me be clear. Whenever I watch those Gordon Ramsay cooking shows, the competition. Yes, chef. Fuck that. No, it's Gordon. I'm calling him Gordon. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not. And even when I worked in office jobs, you'd go to the president's office and the secretary, oh, Mr. So-and-so, he's in a meeting. Okay, well, can you have Joe, just let Joe know? Oh, I will let Mr. So-and-so know. And his name is fucking, if he's not calling me Mr. Bradley, I'm not calling him Mr. So-and-so. Sorry, I'm not. And because, again, that's where you've got these different statuses and it's this different levels and whatever. No. And there was another place that I worked at, again, a long time ago, where she was a vice president of something. She was an executive. And I remember her coming, I was on the marketing department, a marketing team. And I remember her talking, she was always referring to it as your customer. You know, you got to give your customer. Referring to like other departments within, you know, because we were always working on things for other departments. And I said to her one time in a meeting with the team, I said, I don't subscribe to that. We're all a team here. So I'm not working for them. I'm working with them. That other department to come up with the project or the campaign that they want to do. And so I was just like, we're all a team here. Because that puts you on a lower level. That they're the customer, that we're creating something for the customer. No, it's the fucking whatever department that's across the building. We're all one company, we're all one team. I don't, you know, as soon as you put me on that lower level, that's where, no. We're all equal here. I don't care that you're a 6-figure vice president and I'm, you know, whatever. We're all a team. I'm not going to call you Miss So-and-so. I'm not going to refer to the president as Mr. So-and-so if he's not going to refer to, like, why do I have to give him more respect than he's going to give me? So with the trans thing, I get the frustration that people are having because I don't even get it a lot of times. But that's what I'm saying is that as a gay man, the expectation is because you're part of that alphabet, that's our community. No, it's not. It's not my community. And I kind of applaud gay men. I've seen it a few times on Facebook. The few brave souls that will then chime in and go and say like, it's enough of this feminization of gay men. And they'll say about, you know, the nail polish, whatever. Something that always bothered me as a young gay man was I kind of liked the idea of going to a pride parade. But then everything that you always saw on the news was the drag queen, the pink boa, the flouncing around. And I always sort of took offense to that when I was growing up. Now, I'm not easily offended by things now. But I was bothered by that because I was like, this is some caricature of what the gay community is. And to a large extent now, that's what it's become. And that's where I go back to that disclaimer about my life where it's like, we're just two men in love and we don't, there's nowhere, you wouldn't walk by our house and go, oh, there's the big rainbow flag. That's the gay house on the block. Cause we don't have anything like that. We're just two regular gay men. Like that's, and it's just so strange because again, the trans debate is so in your face. It's so polarizing. It's a discussion with American politics. It's especially during Pride Month. And I felt the need in June to kind of write some newspaper commentaries about it where you have to, in some circumstances, go and say like, I have to distance myself from the trans debate because I'm not part of that. I realize that I'll use the term guilty by association because that's a term that people know. But do you know what I mean though? Like you're grouped in, your community based on, I don't know, I'm losing it there halfway through the show without taking a breath. So I'm going to take a break. Send your trans JB as anti-trans mail to me, and we'll continue on the Scribble right after this.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today. 800-319-0582.
Do you ever have one of those moments where you've just, you've had a really bad morning and then you show up to work and you say to yourself, please don't let anybody ask me, how are you? Or how was your night? Or how are you doing this morning? Because it's just going to set you off. Because something just terrible happened that morning. I had an instance the other day where I woke up with a bit of energy. It was a cloudy, kind of a rainy, cool day. I like waking up that way. And, we had the windows open the night before, so it was gray, gloomy, that kind of wet air coming through the window. I like that kind of a morning. I don't like it being 5 a.m, birds chirping, sun out. Because first of all, we don't wake up that early, so that's just obnoxious. But there's something that I like easing into the day. It just gives me that kind of chill, slow sort of a vibe when it's cloudy like that. So I woke up, and it was that kind of a morning. I was like, good, I'm in a good headspace because that's a good start to the day. So our bedroom is upstairs. So I come down, about the 3 stairs, you go to the platform, then you turn, you go down the next stairs to the main floor. And as I'm coming down the main floor, I just smell it. I smell it. We have 2 dogs, okay? It's that smell you don't want to, it's the smell you don't want to wake up to in the morning and you don't want to come home from work and go, I gotta find it. Where is it? You know what I'm talking. Can I just say it? I mean, it's dog shit, right? So I'm coming down the stairs to the main floor, and I was like, all right, let me hang a right into the living room. I'm like, okay, this, the big open area. I'm like, don't see any piles that don't match the rest of the color of the floor. I look in the bathroom, which is kind of sort of at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like, okay, not in the bathroom. I then look to the left, which is my office. I was like, if it's on the hardwood in my nice fancy office, nothing there. Okay. Whatever. So maybe, and one of the dogs has had gas over the past couple of days. So I was like, you know what? Maybe that's just what it is then. Maybe he's excited and as he came running down the stairs. So we hang another left and go into the kitchen. And then I just see it. And it's like liquid shit all over the kitchen floor. And now because we've just woken up and the dogs are excited, they're ready to go outside and they're running around in it. So it's almost like, a puddle of water. It's almost like they can't see it, right? Like it's, okay, you must feel this on your feet. I mean, come on. So as I'm yelling now at them to slow down and calm down, they're getting even more riled up because now there's loud noise and there's action. And I was like, oh my God, this is bad because they're running through the kitchen. Then they're going and running through the rest of the house. Now they're trying to hide from me because now they see that I'm angry. Now they're going with their head down and they're hiding behind the coffee table. And I was just like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. Nightmare. So finally, you basically have to stop them in their place. It's like, good, stay under the table. That's fine. Stay there. Now I'm going to clean up the kitchen floor first. That's the linoleum. So, a little bit easier than the carpet. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that they basically just stomped around on this and then proceeded to run around the house. So I clean the kitchen floor. I go through almost an entire roll of paper towel. And then, because, I'm not going to go and grab like towels from the bathroom or whatever, because I'm like, well, I use those for, my body and stuff. We've got a bunch of different towels that we've, stolen from hotels, I'll be honest. And, oh, please, like you've never done it. Don't even try that. So we have a couple of them by the back door for when it's a rainy day, right? And they've gone through the mud or whatever it is. But they already kind of have mud on them, right? They stay there and that's kind of it. You're not going and now wiping the floor with them because they're already mostly dirty. So I was like, oh my God. And I've got to open the kitchen door to go downstairs. I'm like, I've got to run the door over top of the shit water. And I was like, oh my God, this is so gross. And so I ended up going through, I didn't, by the way. So I ended up going through 3.5 rolls of paper towel. Because the mop that we have is down the stairs by the back door. So yes, it might have just been okay to just, suck it up, open the door over top of it, whatever. But I just didn't in that moment because again, you're barely awake too, right? So once I get the floor cleaned up, and then I was just like, okay, you know what? I sent them outside. So they go outside, they run around, do their thing, because we had just woken up. And I left them out there for a few minutes because I'm like, okay, good. Now I'm going to go and get the carpet cleaner, like not shampoo, I don't know what you call it, but just like the spray and things, because where I could see that it was wet, like I could see where they had run. So I went and did the spray, and again, you know, got my gloves on, and I've got the paper towel, and I go and use the rest of the paper towel. So I went through like a 4-pack of paper towels, and I was kind of like, okay, there we go. You know, clean the floor, good. I'm in a miserable mood. There's nothing that's changing my mood. I'm still mad at the dogs. I'm still, you know, and this is where you'd think that you'd have compassion going, oh, you know, he had an accident at night. Oh, he's not feeling very well. No, you're fucking pissed because now you've ruined the floor. Then I go into the spare bedroom where we have a dog kennel and a couple of things. I went to go check the window to see if it, you know, if the rain had come in or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, there's even more mush there. So it wasn't just the kitchen floor that had the pool of shit. So I clean that up while they're still outside. Now, realizing that my dogs do love a big mud puddle, I didn't take that into consideration. I was just too distracted that morning. And so I went and I was like, okay, good. So I opened the door and they come tearing in, and now we've got mud all over the floor. And I just thought, oh, that was really stupid, JB. That was not a smart thing to do. Because you already, it didn't take me long to clean up the crap on the floor. It was, you know, I mean, but in that moment, let's be honest, in that moment, 10 minutes feels like an hour, right? So I don't know exactly how long it took me to clean up the floor the first go round. But then I was just like, oh my God. So the floor was still kind of wet. The kitchen floor was still kind of wet from the first wash. So I was like, well, in a roundabout way, that's not as bad, because now I can just kind of go and grab a towel or whatever and sort of wipe it clean. It's not as bad. But still, I basically had to go and now clean the floors for a second time in an hour because of, you know, the crap removal and the mud removal. So I go and, you know, and now I'm carrying on about my day. I'm in a pissed off mood. The dogs are hiding. They're not even coming to see me. And in a way, I do feel bad, but I don't. I go about my business, carry on with my day. And then I'm having conversations with people. People don't feel sorry for me because I generally do have a very easy day. My life isn't that traumatic or that bad. And so then later in the afternoon, I decide to go to social media. I'm not one of those people who's addicted, so it's not like that's the first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning. So it was the early afternoon or so, and I was like, all right, let me just go and open Instagram. And sure enough, the first post, what does it say? What was the first thing you thought when you woke up this morning? And I thought, like, just really, so this is now, it takes me to another story is, are our phones like really, really, really listening and reading what we're doing? So because I've had the story and I've told people this on that phone, I've had phone calls with people, I've had conversations, I've texted people. Is Instagram like kind of going, we know you had a shitty morning because you just texted somebody about your day, and now the first post that we're going to show you, I understand it works that way when you have ads, right? When you're, you know, you might be looking at a pair of shoes or something, or talking about a pair of shoes to somebody, and then all of a sudden it's going to show you a shoe ad. I get that. But the fact that I just kind of had that morning, so it does kind of make you laugh, right? You're kind of like, well, that's pretty funny. But kind of creepy though at the same time that it's going to ask me, I'm going to see a post about what's first thought in the morning and I just had a shitty morning. Coincidence? Have you had instances like that too? Because I've had many, many, many instances, being a writer anyway, that I'll sit here and I'll be writing something, and then I'll have a TV show on, and let's say I just typed the word vacation, and then all of a sudden on the show, all of a sudden you hear somebody say the word vacation. You're like, shit, I literally just typed that like 5 seconds ago. Like 2 seconds. Or even just a number. The number 10, then all of a sudden you hear somebody say 10, and you're like, wow, that's crazy. Does that happen to you, or is it just me? Or does it happen to you and you just don't give a crap? Just give a crap. Send me an email. Yikes. live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter @The Scribble Show and @thescribbleshow.com.
Send your hate mail to live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I'm interested to hear from the gay community because I see it on Instagram, lots of gay men posting that we've got to support the trans community. I get it. I totally get it. But I also want to hear from the gay community that doesn't appreciate being associated with all of that drama. So again, live@jbonair.com. Remember, I'm here to facilitate a discussion. I'm not judging. I'm putting opinions out there, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Live@jbonair.com. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's usually awesome hearing from you. And I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some